Welcome to It's Your Date with Destiny with Apostle Vivian and Pastor Jemma Duncan of Divine Destiny Worship Center in Diego Martin. For the next 30 minutes, join us as we take you on a journey of maximizing your potential and realizing your goals through Jesus Christ.
Why is it when you need a miracle, it doesn't happen, but when you least expect it, it happens?
You are married, you have challenges in your relationship, but your spouse is unwilling to accede to any counseling. Is divorce an option?
How does a parent handle a promiscuous child?
What are considered the do's and don'ts of a born-again couple who is not yet married?
There are always more questions than answers. So here is Apostle Jemma.
Very good morning to you. Welcome to Ask Pastor Jemma. I'm happy that you have taken the time to be with me this morning. And we are going to continue with something I started last week, 15 eye-opening bits of advice from a divorced man. And I felt it was important to bring it because, as I said in the last program, this gentleman is speaking from hindsight. And I've also included as part of my philosophy of life that I could learn from people who didn't succeed or who failed in certain arenas, because generally, well, I know for me, I tend to feel that I can only listen to you if you succeeded in something where people could tell you why they failed. And so what not to do is as important as what to do. And the first 5 things we spoke about in the event that you just joined me today, and I'll introduce myself in a little bit. Appreciate your partner, love unconditionally, keep the romance alive, take responsibility for your own actions, and the big one, forgive. And we're going to pick up from there. But in the event that you're a first-time viewer, my name is Jemma Duncan. I'm married to Apostle Vivian Duncan, and together we pastor Divine Destiny Worship Center. Our headquarters is in Diego Martin, on the Diego Martin Main Road, opposite Sardonynx Drive. We have branches in Sangre Grande, one in Chaguanas, Faizabad, Rio Claro, one in Tobago, and we also have a branch in Antigua in the event that you have a friend or a family member there. So today, we're looking at this gentleman, we're taking this journey with him, and he is looking backwards and saying, if perhaps we would have done some of these things or taken them a little more seriously, our relationship would still be intact. And when I looked at what he's talking about, we realized that it is not just going to benefit us as married people, but people anywhere, at home, in your house, among siblings and family members, on the workplace, in church, wherever people gather, we could learn how to get along better. So let's look at the 5 that we are going to look at today. So it says, talk about tough stuff. Don't walk away. Don't bury your head. Don't remain silent. And I'm sure we're talking about don't bury your head in the sand. So we said, talk about tough stuff. Big mistake. And we were guilty of that, Vivian and I. Somehow we felt if we don't talk about certain things that they would go away, it's better to leave it. And Vivian has this philosophy, it will work itself out. But many years have passed and we realize certain things do not work themselves out. You have to talk about it. We don't like controversy. We don't like to treat with certain things. And some people believe in peace, in inverted commas, and so they don't like arguments, they don't like quarreling, and the next best thing is not to deal with it. Well, not dealing with it also has negative, well, not just connotations, but negative results, right? So what we have to do is, probably we have to work on our communication skills, because this is my little philosophy, I believe continuous and constant quarreling means that your relationship is dying because you're not communicating properly, but silence or non-communication means it's dead. So, you don't want to be quarreling and fighting all the time, but from the time we become you know, quietly courteous. Pass the salt. Could you hand me the butter? The dinner is on the table, or the money is in the drawer. Very courteous. Oh, no arguments, no quarreling, no real meaningful communication. Your relationship then. And many times I'll tell you what happens, and many of you would have experienced that person who you all don't talk, but hear them on the phone and they laugh and talk with somebody on the phone. You right there. And then after they put down the phone, pass the salt. And that's all, you know, in short sentences. All right, so talk about tough stuff. Listen to me. Maybe you have to set aside a time and a place to talk about it. But you have to say, we need to talk about this. And it should be two of you willing to talk. And this person says, don't walk away. Because many times when things become tough, what do? Some people jump in the car and they drive off. They want to face things. You know, this one say we need to talk about this. You don't want to talk, and you drive away, or you walk away from the room, you go outside, or whatever you do, but don't walk away. And the one a reason for you to walk away, but you have to walk away and give an explanation. You know what? I'm really very upset at this particular time, and I need to take a walk. I'll come back, and when I come back, we'll pick up from there. Now, a song in like, you know, this TV show, you know, because when you're vexed, you don't really say that and behave in this kind of way. But words like that is what we should say. And so I'm not just walking away angry without anything. I'm saying, you know, I need a little break here. You know, let me come back in 10 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever time, and I might go outside. But don't not, you know, some people will walk away and then ignore it. They come back and behave as if nothing happened. You know, not a good idea. Don't bury your head in the sand, right? Don't pretend, because what do? Pretend nothing is wrong, and especially people in church, and I'm part of the church, and we have all these nice little cliches. So I'm blessed and highly favored. You know, I'm blessed of God, and all these little things we say. We have a problem. Stop saying that. It doesn't mean that you have to announce to everybody that you have an issue, but sometimes you have to just say, you know, I'm dealing with something. Could you pray for me? And I tell people, you don't have to tell me what your problem is. I don't have to have the details, because the God to whom I'm praying already knows what the details are. So it is not necessary to give details, but at least say, I need prayer. And somebody will pray for you. And there are times when you're so overwhelmed that you need help, then you also need to go for help. Don't remain silent, because I wouldn't know what is going on in Vivian's head if he doesn't say anything. And many times that person in a relationship says nothing. So you're quiet. But how do I know? How does that person know that their behavior is offending you or hurting your feelings? If you say nothing, you have to say something. Find a way to communicate. That's just number one. Let's see how quickly we could go. Accept change. And that's a big one. You both will change. Listen to me. Let me quote something that Vivian likes to say. He says, if you are not an agent of change, you will become a victim of change, because change is inevitable. People change. And the person that you married at 20 or 21 or 22 is not the person at 35. 10 years, situations, circumstances, experiences will make you different. You change. Your philosophy change. Your thinking change. The kind of things that you would have liked to do at one age, 10 years down the road, just 10 years. I mean, your taste change. You know, it's okay, because we tend to say, well, when I married you, was so yeah, but people change. And so I must accept the fact that I am changing, the other person is changing. People around you change, your taste change. Not because you married me and I liked certain things at the time, that means that 10 years down the road I must like the same thing. If at some point I don't want this again, it's fine. I don't like this anymore. For some reason, I don't, right? So accept change. Be honest and open. Is it possible to be honest and open? But when we express our honesty and openness, there must be, the end result should be to resolve the situation, right? Not to win an argument or win the war or win the fight or something like that. Because I'll tell you the truth, and if you are married or in any kind of relationship, whether it's family or not, you realize when one person wins, both people lose. We never win when we fighting as family, right? Because the enemy really shouldn't be on the inside of that home. When the doors are closed, everybody on the inside belong to the same team, the same side of the war, right? And so I must be honest and open, but I mustn't be honest and open to the point that I'm hurting you. And at the end of this whole experience, we are the worst of it. I've hurt that person, damaged them by my words and my actions or whatever I do, and I won. No, we both lost. So in my honesty and in my openness, I have to express love, express it with love. The Bible says, speak the truth in love. So love has to be an element, very important element. What do I want to see at the end of this honest and open communication? A resolution to the situation or the issue or the problem that we have. That's what we're aiming at. At the end of this honest communication, we want to resolve it. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to be the winner. I don't want to come off as the victor, because two of us are on the same side. It's either both of us win or two of us lose. That's just how it is. Be kind to yourself. And this person says, I believe in me. You bring something into this relationship. Wow. So he is saying, when we come into relationships, we also need to be kind to ourselves. Jesus says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. He said there are two laws, fundamental. Love God and love your neighbor as you love yourself. If we analyze that, love your neighbor as you love yourself, it means that I must like me, I must love me. To my mind, when I really pondered on this, it means that if I don't like me, if I don't love me, I probably am not capable of loving anybody else. In other words, I have to practice self-love first. And when I could really love me, then is when I probably have the skills to love somebody else. And so he says, be kind to yourself. Because what do you see in dysfunctional relationships? And all of us have a little dysfunction, right? But, extremely dysfunctional relationships is that one person kind of not only gets the blame, but accepts the blame. And so you tell yourself, well, I am, the person to be blamed for everything. And some partners really play that blame game good. And for some reason, it doesn't matter what happened, they make the other party feel as if you were the wrong person. For example, let's say there is a question of infidelity or something happening in the relationship. And I've seen that happen. And one partner confronts the other and says, so. You know what that person does? Instead of admitting, there's a situation, they slip to the fact that you never trust me. You never trusted me. My God, you're guilty, right? Because sometimes when you start off, so that person saw you and you make them feel, no, it wasn't me. Yeah, I know you can't, I know you, I see you. And then what we come, slip back and say, you see what I mean? You never trusted me from the very beginning. So we slip away, we shift the thing to the person. And after a while, the person who always accepts blame tells us, maybe, I wonder if that was I make a mistake of somebody looking like him or looking like her or something like that. In other words, you have to be kind to yourself. There are times when you have to say, I won't accept this blame because I'm bringing something. Stop behaving as if you're not bringing something into the relationship. Some people come in a relationship and you're made to feel like the beggar maid before King Copetia. So I didn't bring nothing in here. And usually it happens when one person probably has a better job and one person brings in a lot more money. Sometimes it happens when one person, seems to be from a little higher up in the social ladder, and the other person who is lower down and don't have the income or background and so on tend to feel, I am blessed or lucky just to be married to you. So, heap blame on themselves and say, well, I didn't deserve to be married to him anyhow. So if he treats me like that, then I should accept it. It says, be kind to yourself. I believe in me. And you, in that relationship, must tell yourself, I am bringing something into this relationship. Sit down and ponder, what did I bring? Right, so we are at our final point for this morning. I remember we talking about 15 eye-opening bits of advice from a divorced man, and today we deal with 5. Last week we dealt with 5. And today, the final point that this gentleman made was let your partner be himself or herself. Ladies, again, we are a little guilty of trying to make clones of our partners. We want them to think like us. We want them to behave like us. We want them to like the same things we like. We want them to make the same choices. It's a very difficult thing because you're talking about two separate persons from two different backgrounds who come with different philosophies and ways of thinking. You may have different families, and remember, different families function different ways. What your mother used to do in your home is not the only way to do something in a house. And we behave as if when we come into a relationship, because mommy did it like that and granny did it like that, and that's where we came from, that when we come here, I must do it so. The person in that relationship also has the right to say, I want it this way. Right now, I mean, you're talking about some very difficult things for me to swallow and all, some adjustments to make, because we tend to feel that if that person does not see the way I see, if they don't behave the way I behave, if they don't like what I like, that there's a problem. There is no problem. That person is different to you. Let your partner be himself or herself. You have to let that person be herself. This is who she is. We try to make people more like us. We try to, most of us have a sense of what we want that person to be. Remember, that person that you're married to is not going to be your little dream, so because you're growing up with all your romantic ideas, you read all the nice books about romance, and when you meet the knight in shining armor, you want him to be so. He may not be a rose person. He may not be a person with flowery speech. I know all of us want Mr. Lover Man. You want him to say all these nice things. But it happens that he's not like that. And I don't want to burst your bubble, but he probably will never become that. For him to become that, he must want to. He must say, you know what, she really appreciates that kind of thing. I need to make an effort to do that, to go out of my own comfort zone, to go out of who I really am. And from him, that will be saying, I love you. But if it is that you feel you can make that person change, it's probably not going to happen. Take it from somebody who married for quite a while, and they're not changing. Right? And I guess in the very same way, he probably realized he ain't changing me either. I'm not sure that he tried as hard to change me as I did to change him, And so let that individual be himself or herself. You have to analyze the relationship and find out, can I really live for the rest of my life with this person? If that person never changes, you think I could at least live with that individual? Because I know what we do, especially us ladies, you tell yourself, let me just get him in a house. I will change him. I will get him to conform. I will get him to, because somehow we feel we have the ability to change people. I tell people, if you can't change yourself, then probably you can't change another human being. And many of us struggle with flaws and character weaknesses that we ourselves wish we could just overcome, and we have to go to God time and time again. If you're like me, I go back to the drawing board and I remind God as if he doesn't know that he's the potter and he could change me. And at my age, I'm still going back to him to say, but God, we still have some stuff to work out here. I thought that I would have already handled this thing at this point in my life, right? So remember what we talked about. Talk about tough stuff. Accept change, be honest and open, be kind to yourself, and let your partner be himself or herself. So you have to join me next week. There's no way you could miss the next week's program, because we're going to deal with the final 5 of 15 eye-opening bits of advice from a divorced man. This gentleman was really kind to us, and I am going to take away a few things from what he shared. I'm not divorced, but in order to prevent me from reaching that place, and I think that's what he had in mind, that if he would share some of his own experiences, then people will not have the experience of divorce that he has had.
Holding nothing, holding nothing, holding nothing, withholding nothing, holding nothing. Come on, let's just say it to him one more time. Say this thing. I surrender. Say, I surrender. I surrender all to you. Everything I give to you. Holding nothing. Holding nothing. I surrender. I surrender all to you.
A pleasant good morning to you. Have you ever said to yourself, I really wish I can understand the Bible better? I read the Bible, but I simply do not understand it. I wish I knew enough to share my faith. Sometimes I sit in the pew and I don't quite understand because the pastor uses so many scriptures. If you said any of these things, today I have the answer and the solution to your problem. My name is Jemma Duncan. My husband and I are the pastors of Divine Destiny Worship Center with our headquarters in Diego Martin. And we have a program called the School of the Bible that I would like to introduce to you today. School of the Bible is a one-year program for simple, regular, ordinary people who sit in the pews, whose only desire is to understand the Bible better. Since 2014, we've catered for a wide range of persons as young as 10 years old and the people into their 80s. So it's something that the average person can really understand and grasp. Although we cater primarily for people in the pews, we've had a few pastors who came and they felt that they should just sharpen up their information based on the Word of God. Since 2014, we've helped almost 400 persons, ranging from young to way into the 80s. The program lasts for a year. Every Tuesday from 7 to 9 we meet, and for 4 Saturdays for the entire year. Every quarter we have what we call a quarterly assessment meeting. The quarterly is from 9 to 4. We also have online facilities, and we've been really blessed. We have had people from USA, Canada, Europe, the Caribbean countries, Tobago, and we actually have what we call a local online group or groups of people who cannot come to what we call in class in Diego Martin. It doesn't matter where you are, you can access School of the Bible. We have lectures, we have group reports, individual book reports, movies, training in all our presentations that we call 5-minute sermonette, PowerPoint presentations. I mean, you name it, we have it. And we cover a wide range of topics. Our main resources are the Bible and the 7 manuals, and I'm going to just quickly give you a sense of the manual. Volume 1 contains the overview of the Bible and the first 5 books of the Bible, called the books of Moses, the books of the law, or the Pentateuch. It goes from Genesis to Deuteronomy. Volume 2 are what we call the books of history, from Joshua to Esther. Volume 3 are the books of poetry, from Job to Song of Solomon. Volume 4, books of prophecy, and the books of prophecy are divided into the minor prophets, major prophets. The major prophets are from Isaiah to Daniel, minor prophets, Hosea to Malachi. When you come to the School of the Bible, you will get a further understanding as to why they are called minor and major. Shifting into the New Testament, Volume 5 are the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and the one historical book, the book of Acts. Volume number 6 are letters of Paul. They are called the Pauline epistles, from Romans to Philemon. And volume number 7 are the general letters written by a variety of authors, from Hebrews to Jude, and then the one book of prophecy in the New Testament, the book of Revelation. Other resource materials are available on request. We have them there. If you wish for them, they're not compulsory. You can request them and we'll order them for you. We want to give you a little example of what some of the volumes look like. And so we have the cover page for the overview of the Bible, the cover page for the book of Genesis, and the cover page for the comparative study of the gospel. Call us at 633-3780 for further information. And this information will be for 2020. A brochure will be sent to you with all the information you will need. See you in School of the Bible in 2020. I don't want you to ever forget what Jesus said. He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father except by me. God bless you real good.